All right, the Delta variant. That's all we hear about. Well, there are some cases the Biden administration seems to be kind of fine with. COVID cases among migrants in the Rio Grande Valley are up 900% in the first 2 weeks of July. Now, despite this fact, Team Biden wants to repeal a Trump-era public health order known as Title 42 that kept up to 750,000 migrants out of the country due to the heightened risks of COVID. According to the Free Beacon, as part of the preparation for that policy reversal, senior Department of Homeland Security officials warned staff that they'll have to process up to 1,200 family units a day on top of the flood of humanity they're already dealing with at the border. Now, when asked about the national security implications, well, the White House just punts to the medical bureaucrats.
As it relates to travel restrictions to come to the United States, any decisions about reopening international travel will be guided by our own public health and medical experts. We will continue to be guided by public health guidelines on how we reopen travel to within our borders.
Here now is Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, your reaction to this?
Look, the Biden administration has gone extreme and hard left. And if you look at priorities, there's a hierarchy of priorities with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. At the very bottom of the list is your freedom to choose whether or not to get a vaccine, your freedom to choose what to do with your life. Down at the bottom of the priority list for the Biden administration is your right to go to work, to have a job, your right to send your kids to school. Above that, they put the virus and fighting the pandemic. They put that at the next level. So they view COVID as more important than your right to go to work or send your kids to school. But above that in their priority list is their desire to have open borders. And so they're willing to impose all of these mandates on American citizens. And at the same time, at our southern border, they are releasing hundreds of thousands of people. We're on pace to have over 2 million people cross our border illegally this year. And what does the Biden administration want to do? It wants to repeal the laws that have enabled us to keep out people who are COVID positive, even though that is driving up the rates of COVID infections. And this is radical open border policy that doesn't make any sense and that is endangering American health.
Now, Senator, I have to ask you about this issue we talked about at the top of the show, which is this lurch toward COVID mandates in states across the country. Chris Kobach addressed the constitutional issue. Given your background, I'd love to hear what you have to say about what we're looking at here, which is not maybe people not being able to fly, people not being able to check into hotels, go to work, and so forth.
So I think it's real simple. There should be no mandates. There should be no vaccine mandates. There should be no mask mandates. We should respect individual liberty. Now, when it comes to vaccines, I believe in vaccines. So I've been vaccinated. Heidi's been vaccinated. My parents have been vaccinated. Heidi's parents have been vaccinated. I am encouraging Texans and Americans to get vaccinated, particularly if you're elderly, particularly if you're in a high-risk category. I think taking the vaccine makes sense. But I also believe in individual liberty and responsibility. I think you're able to make that decision for yourself. You're able to look at the cost-benefit analysis and make a choice about whether getting vaccinated is a good idea. I think for school children, I can tell you, Heidi and I, we haven't vaccinated our girls. We think the cost-benefit analysis is different for kids. The rate of serious COVID infections for children is so low that trying a new vaccine for us doesn't make sense. Look, other parents may make different decisions. But the left doesn't believe in individual responsibility. They don't believe in individual choice. They want the government to mandate you must obey. And so I've introduced legislation in the Senate to ban vaccine passports, to ban the government saying we're going to issue a document to make sure you've had a vaccine. I've introduced legislation to end the mask mandate on airplanes. It is crazy right now that airplanes are mandating mask mandates. It doesn't make any sense. And Democrats are opposing this because they believe you don't have a right to make a choice for yourself.
Well, people are called anti-vaccine when they're really anti-mandate. Correct?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the real trick. You know, you're you're anti-government control because we think it leads to perhaps the next lockdown or the next mandate, the climate change mandate or the racial justice mandate or whatever the next mandate is. Because You start a
and
pattern and people start bowing down to it.
So I'll tell you something from inside the Senate. So on a question of masks, I've never been on the extreme on either side. So I've never understood the people that want masks at all times and no matter what. And I've frankly never been with the people that say never wear a mask no matter what. Particularly early on in the pandemic, it was a dangerous disease. I was willing to take a reasonable step to slow the spread of the disease. But I'll tell you, when I got vaccinated, once I was vaccinated, I stopped wearing my mask on the Senate floor. And there were just 3 of us, 3 senators out of 100, we'd all been vaccinated, who were not wearing our masks. There was Rand Paul, there was me, and there was Roger Marshall. And I got to tell you, people looked at you like you had 3 heads when you walked on with no mask. And I said, look, I believe in science. Vaccines work. And then suddenly, magically, when Joe Biden was under some real political pressure, the CDC changed their recommendation, said, okay, vaccinated people don't have to wear masks.
Yeah, well, they
and
might be going back. Yeah.
Everyone took off their masks, and now they're going back. And by the way, if you want to encourage people to get vaccinated, this idea of the left, you're getting people now saying, even if you're vaccinated, you got to wear a mask. That is idiotic. My answer to that is no, no, no. Hell no. And if you want to encourage people to get vaccinated, if you suggest nothing in your life will change and we're going to lock you in your bedroom forever, even if you're vaccinated, people aren't going to choose to do so. I don't think that makes any sense. And it's the result of people that are, frankly, they believe in government power and they don't care about your individual freedom.
Yeah, it's about control. And Senator, you stated it very eloquently. Thank you so much. Good to see you tonight.